Hello, students and parents. My name is Jonathan Leach, and currently I am the teacher for IB Chemistry HL2. Mrs. Usha Muloparty teaches IB Chemistry SL2. All right, so let's first talk about who should take this course. All right, the first thing that's important to note is that these are second year courses. So if you really enjoyed chemistry the first time around, then one of these classes may be a good fit for you. But there are certain prerequisites that you must have taken. So in order to take IB Chemistry to HL, you must have taken Advanced Chemistry for IB schools as either a sophomore or a junior. In other words, the honors chemistry course. You also must be in your senior year to take HL Chemistry. That is an IB requirement, so it has to be followed. If you want to take IB Chemistry to SL, you can take that as a junior or you can take it as a senior. All right, so these courses are generally, they're not a good fit for students who are not entirely engaged. They're very, very rigorous college level chemistry courses. They're not too hard in relation to other chemistry courses that you might take in college, but they are certainly more difficult than the 10th grade offerings. So these courses really are best for students who have an interest in science, who had a general enjoyment of chemistry the first time around, and who were really good at it and found the science easy to understand without much struggle. All right, so if you're deciding which course you should take, there's a couple things you could consider. One, if you are an IB diploma candidate in need of a Group 4 course, you got to make sure that you're willing to put in the time and work that is required to be successful. So a good example of that is the internal assessment. In chemistry, IB Chemistry, every student has to design, execute, and analyze their own chemistry experiment. Now, that does require a pretty decent time commitment outside of school, so it's very important that you are able to manage that time constraint. For example, if you are on the football team and you're doing a marching band or a lot of other things that take your time after school, the course is certainly manageable, but you have to make the commitment to actually doing the work. Also, a lot of what we learn in chemistry is skill-based. So instead of having to memorize a lot of things, you instead practice skills to be mastered. So practice time is key. All right, a lot of kids talk about this course. It's got quite the reputation at the school for being a challenging course, and that's appropriate because it is a pretty challenging course. But it's really not all that difficult for students who are engaged in the lessons, who are engaged with the work, who really put their best foot forward during lab activities and so forth. Essentially, the class is only as hard as you make it. But even if you do find the class challenging, if you're planning on going on to the next step to college, it's actually really good to kind of dip your toe into that pond to see what you'll be facing in the years to come. All right, so we cover pretty much the same topics we cover in Chemistry 1, only we go through them in much, much greater depth. So if you want to pause, take a look at this, feel free, but I'm just going to go ahead and move on. All right, so a lot of kids and parents wonder whether or not they should take HL or SL. Nothing in HL is harder than in SL. The only difference is HL has more content. So if we go back to these topics, they are the same topics that you learn in SL, but in HL they go into more depth. So I just say that HL chemistry is basically SL chemistry, but a little bit more. So we do laboratory experiments whenever possible. The labs really are helpful in helping you learn by actually doing the chemistry as opposed to just learning the chemistry or talking about it. So again, one requirement of the course is that internal assessment. This lab work actually also helps to reinforce the techniques and processes you will use to develop your research questions for your IAs. And I'm reusing a PowerPoint that I made last year for this, or the year before actually. This is actually not really a thing anymore. I wasn't sure. The curriculum switches over every 7 years, and I wasn't sure if there was going to be less content, more content, or the same amount of content. So I kind of put this in here as a just in case. But one thing I'm happy to say is there's actually less content in the new curriculum than there was in the old, the overall picture. So there really isn't that much of an issue or time constraint getting through the entire course in a single year. All right, and that's that. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to my email address. You can find, or out to my email, you can find my address on the school website, or if you can just write it down now, it's jwleitch@fcps.edu. And I can answer any questions about SL or HL, although I only teach HL now. I have taught both. All right, well, thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely, lovely day.